Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome back to Inventory Management Portal. This is Ali Raza and today I am going to tell you further about purchase invoice and the rest of the work that we have to do with purchase invoice. So let's start and have a look what we have today. Alright guys, so today I am going to first create all the necessary stored procedures that I require in order to insert, update and delete all the purchase invoice details and then so on. Okay, so let's click on purchase invoice first of all and go to the structure and then go to the SQL. You see the structures and now you see that all the columns are coming here. Let's first create the insert stored procedure for purchase invoice. So delimiter / delimiter and then semicolon at the end and then create procedure st_insert. so that's my purchase invoice table. So purchase invoice, insert purchase invoice. Now two parameters I have to pass here, that is date. The data type should be date time. Okay, we can add date only, you can do this, and give the parameter name dt so that it cannot be similar to the keyword of the MySQL. And then we have to pass the supplier ID. So supplier ID is integer int and then first of all we have to pass supplier ID and then the data type. Now one more thing that we have to verify the data type of the other things that we are passing, because supplier ID was our integer or tiny integer. Let us check. So columns, just right click on it and then open a new tab. So you see we have the structure and the supplier ID is integer. So we have verified that we should pass the supplier ID as integer. Now let's zoom in. Okay, so the next step is to open the bracket and end. Similarly insert into and then the name of the table, that is purchase invoice, column names, that is the supplier date pur_date and pur_supplier ID. Then we have values and then here I can pass my date, that is dt, comma and sid. Now the next thing is to add a semicolon. That's it. Let's try to copy this and execute. So you see it shows me an error in expected delimiter. Okay, so that's the problem. I have to provide here space. Now that's fine, and then execute. Okay, it says that now it already exists. Okay, sometimes it happens, but my stored procedure created successfully. Now let's go and create the update stored procedure for purchase invoice. Okay, so for that purpose what I have to do, I have to simply change the insert and write here update and then let me show you this message that my insert stored procedure already exists. That happens sometime. Now let's zoom in. Okay, so update. For updation we need update purchase invoice set pur_date equals to dt, comma pur_supplier ID is equals to sid, where pur_id is equals to id. So where is that id? Let me write here. PID and the data type, I think that was integer. Let us check it. So let's go to the purchase invoice, right click, open link in new tab, come here and check the structure. So here you see the purchase invoice, the purchase ID is big int. So that's why I have specified here I have to specify here big int. So data type should match, okay, with the parameters and with the column data type. So where purchase ID equal to this, so update this. Okay, so now let's copy it and execute. Okay, it says that still we have an error, delimiter, everything is fine. Okay, semicolon is missing, I'm sorry for that. Now let's execute this. Again you see my stored procedure created successfully. Now let's go back, edit inline, increase the size, and now I wanted to create the delete purchase invoice. Let me zoom, and here I have to pass only the purchase invoice ID. So remove these all, and now what I have to do, I have to simply write the delete query, delete from, and then the table name is purchase invoice, and then where purchase ID is equals to PID. Okay, so whatever ID I will pass, it simply deletes. So let's copy and click go. It says that, let's copy this query and put it inside a new query window and paste it here. Okay, the problem is with the delimiters, because when you try to reuse inside MySQL, it omits delimiters. So let's try to put delimiters forward slash delimiter and then semicolon. Okay, that's fine. Okay, it should not be here because where I have applied already. Now that's fine. Okay, let's copy and execute. So you see commands completed successfully. So guys, this is all about the purchase invoice. Now I wanted to get the last purchase invoice directly. For that purpose, let us go to the SQL again and paste. I don't want to get all the purchase invoice. I only want to get the last purchase invoice, because the last purchase invoice ID will be passed to this purchase invoice detail table, okay, for referencing. So let us create a procedure, create procedure and zoom. So get last purchase ID. So get last purchase ID. Okay, make the name descriptive, get last purchase ID, and I don't want to pass any parameter, and simply come here and write select from purchase invoice detail, purchase invoice PI, and you can write here PI dot purchase ID as ID. Okay, order by PI dot ID, and you have to specify a limit 1. That means that we have to order by with respect to the descending order. Okay, so the records that the last purchase ID will be at the top, and I have picked only the first one, limit 1, that means first record. Okay, so that's the case. So I want only the ID of the last purchase invoice. Okay, now let's try to execute this, semicolon at the end, copy and execute. Commands completed successfully. Now the next thing is, the next part is to go to the products table and insert the products, update the products, delete and select the products. So structure and SQL. Okay, so paste. I wanted to insert the product, so these are the columns. So insert products. First of all, the name of the product. We have to get the data types as well. So let's right click here and open link in new tab. Just close these because we don't need. Okay, structure. So you see we have product ID as big integer, then varchar 50 is the product name. So we'll do something like this. So first of all the name, that means the product, and the data type is varchar 50. Then we have the category and the size and the column. So these are my reference columns, that means the foreign key columns. So category, basically category ID should be the data type, and let's open the categories in new tab and see the data type of category ID. So structure, and the category ID is int, so let's write here integer, okay. And then the size category, sorry, the size ID, so size, and its data type should be int. Let us verify that. Right click and open link in new tab, structure, and you see we have tiny integer as the size. So let's come back here, and instead of int, that's why I'm verifying things, because I don't want any mistakes or logical mistakes to be done. So and then we have the color, so integer and color ID. So let's check the colors. Right click, open link in new tab and structure, and you see here we have int for colors. So we have to write here color ID first and then the data type, that is int. So guys, these are the columns that I wanted to pass here. Okay, now the next thing is to write the insert. Let me zoom. Okay, so insert into products columns, and the first column is pro underscore name, second is category, third one is pro underscore size, and the last is pro underscore call. And then we have the values, and then come inside and specify the parameters. So we have first of all pro. Always keep the sequence of the columns that you have specified inside the table and then inside the stored procedure, otherwise you will get errors. So you see, then we have category ID, after category we have the size, so size, and then we have the call ID. So that's my insert stored procedure for products. Okay, let's copy and execute. The reason for copying the query is nothing special, but if any mishap, if anything got incorrect, then we can have the previous query. Okay, but that's why, nothing special. Now let's go back. We have inserted successfully, paste it here and update products. Update products, and then because I wanted to update, so what I can do, I can simply add the ID, that is pro ID and big int. So if you wanted to update the product, we have to use the product ID, and this should not be the query. In this case, update products set pro underscore name equals to pro, comma, pro underscore category is equals to cat ID, and then we have pro underscore size is equals to size, and then we have pro underscore color ID, and then because user can edit, update anything, so color ID, and then we have the where clause, where pro ID is equals to pro ID, that I will pass to update. Okay, so let's try to execute this. Okay, copy and go. You see, updated successfully. Now we have to add another procedure that is for delete. So delete product, and I don't want these things for deletion. Just remove everything and put pro ID, and just write here delete from, let me zoom, products where pro id equals to this. That's it. Copy and execute. So delete product, done. Now the get product stored procedure. So paste, sorry, I have mistakenly copied this, so now I have to write again. So delimiter / / delimiter semicolon create procedure st underscore get products. I don't want to pass any parameter inside this. Begin, end, come inside, and then right here select from products P, and you can get all the products, or you can specify the individual columns if you wanted to. But the problem is inside the products we have the relationships with category with respect to size and with respect to column, so we have to apply joins as well. So see this property, see this query carefully. So we have select all from products, not only this, but we have to apply inner join with the categories table, that is C in this case, the alias, the shortcut name on C dot category ID. One category can have many products, but one product cannot belongs to many categories. So this is the cardinality. Now, so P dot category ID, that's the relationship between the common columns between the two tables, product and the category. I hope it is clear. Now the inner join between the sizes table. So size is S, and then on S dot size ID equals to P dot size. Okay, so I am comparing with each other. Okay, of one size we can have many products, and one product can be have many sizes. So this is the two-way relationship. So inner join, and then we have the colors table, and you see I have already created an alias with the name C. So let's create an alias with the name CO, so that it is easy to understand. So CO dot color ID is equals to product dot color ID. So that's what the joins are all about. Now I have to give here everything. First of all, P dot pro ID as ID, or you can say pro ID. Okay, now the next column that I have to pass here is, first pass all the products columns. So pro underscore name as product. These are also alias column names, or the shortcut, the new column names that I am going to give. And then we have the category ID. So can I write here pro underscore cat, that means the ID of the category. So category ID, and then let's go on the new line so that you can see it clearly, comma, and then we have pro underscore size, that is also the size ID. So let's write here size ID, comma, pro underscore, guys, I'll utilize these columns inside my PHP. Okay, so that's why I'm calling these things. And then the color as the color ID, and now the actual color names. So where is the name of the color, where is the name of the category, where is the name of the size? We have all these tables linked already now. So C dot name as category. Okay, then we have CO dot name, that is the color name. So color, and one more thing I have to pass is the size. So S dot name as, what we have to write here, size. So this is how we can get all the information with respect to our product, the category of the product, the color of the product, and the size of the product. Okay, so that's the complete stored procedure. Let me increase the size or zoom out. Okay, now you see this completed stored procedure. Let us copy this and execute, but wait a minute, I have to specify a semicolon. Now that's fine. copy and execute. Okay, it gives me an error that we have a syntax. Okay, let us check what is the problem. Okay, that's fine. Join, and then let's execute it again. Okay, the problem is the missing of the on keyword. Let me write here on. Now that's fine. Okay, let's copy and execute. So you see, commands completed successfully. Now I have my get products stored procedure. Now the next thing after this, we have successfully created insert, update, delete, and the select stored procedure for products. Now let's go to the purchase invoice details table. Here let's go to the SQL and just start creating the things. So paste. I don't want this selection, remove this. Now instead of get products, get purchase invoice details. So get purchase invoice details, sorry, insert purchase invoice details. First of all, I wanted to insert inside this. So what are the column names? These are the column names. First of all, we have the purchase ID. So purchase ID, that was big int. Let us verify that purchase invoice. Open link in new tab, just close everything out and see this purchase invoice structure. So that's big integer. Okay, that's why I have specified big integer as the purchase invoice parameter, and then we have to pass here the product ID. So pro ID, and then it should also big int, and then we have the price. So the price was in the float. Let us verify that inside the purchase invoice. Let's go back and right click and open link in new tab, structure. So per price is float and the quantity was int. Okay, so per price float and then quantity is in int. So these are my columns now. Okay, now let's insert into purchase invoice details. Column names should be PID underscore purchase ID, PID underscore pro ID, PID underscore per price, and PID underscore quantity. Values down brackets, and now respectively add the columns. Per ID, then we have UD. Okay, now I have to add pro ID and then the PP and then the con, QUAN. That's it. So these are the values that I'm going to pass, and semicolon at the end. Let's zoom out, select, copy and execute. Commands completed successfully. Now I wanted to update, I wanted to delete, I wanted to do everything. So but you see here, notice here, because I have created the link between the purchase invoice and the purchase invoice detail, so there is no need to delete, because when I delete the purchase invoice detail will automatically get deleted. That's one case, but for the safe side, let's try to insert, update the procedure. Let's create the update procedure as well for future purposes. So update purchase invoice details, and one thing that I have to pass here is the purchase ID. So PID ID, purchase invoice details ID, and that will also big integer, big int. Let us go here and see, that's also the big integer. Okay, so update, let's remove this, update purchase invoice details and remove this line as well. Set PID underscore purchase ID as, sorry, equals to per ID. Okay, PID underscore then we have the product ID. So product ID is equals to pro ID, and then we have PID underscore per price, then PP, and then we have PID underscore quantity is equals to QUAN, and then we have where, because we are going to update with respect to the purchase invoice ID. So purchase invoice ID is equals to PID ID, okay, and then semicolon. So let's try to execute this. Commands completed successfully. Let's go and come here and write the delete one. Okay, so delete purchase invoice details. I don't want anything. PID, just remove this and write delete from purchase invoice details where is already written. So that's it. Now let's copy and execute. Okay, now the next step is to retrieve the purchase invoice along with the purchase invoice details. Okay, so for that purpose, what I can do, I can simply create a stored procedure with the name get purchase invoice details. Okay, get purchase invoice details. I don't want anything, and come here and pass a select statement. Select, let me zoom in all right now just for ease, and then purchase invoice PI. So I'm going to create a join. That's why I have written first purchase invoice, inner join purchase invoice details PID on PI dot purchase ID is equals to PID dot purchase ID. That's it. So that's the common column between the two tables. Okay, so all the details that are inside the purchase table and the purchase invoice details table will be fetched. Simple. And if you wish to select separate things, then you can do the separate things as well. One more thing that we have to specify here is the another join, because we have a reference to the product table as well. So purchase reference I have given, product reference I haven't given. So let's copy this line and come here and paste. So what I wanted to get here, that those are the table names, that is product and P. So on P we have to write here P dot ID, that is the pro ID, and it is joined with the it can be joined with both purchase invoice and the purchase invoice detail, but inside the purchase invoice we don't have any product details, but in purchase invoice detail we have the product detail. So PID dot pro ID. So that's how we can join. Okay, now we can be able to get all the details from purchase invoice, all the details from purchase invoice detail, and all the details from the products table. Okay, all the details. Now we have to join the other table, other things as well, like the categories, because we have, when we get products, let me copy this query. Let's first copy and execute this, and later on we'll try to add or remove the columns. Semicolon at the end and execute. Commands completed successfully. Let's go to the SQL back and paste this. Just remove these things. I wanted to show you what will happen when we run this query. So you see right now we don't have any results, so that's why the columns are not there. But if we have the results, then all the columns, I wanted to show this all. It will get all the columns from the product table, from the purchase invoice, and from the purchase invoice detail. And later on we'll see, we'll have to add the color table, the category table, the size table also in this. We'll see that later on. So now we have done with the three tables: purchase invoice detail, and the products table. Now the next thing is to add, insert, update and delete the product price and also the stock. Two things are remaining still. So let's go to the product price table, go to the SQL, and here we have to enter the things. So let's try to paste and write here get instead of get, insert product price. Name should be descriptive. Pro ID, that was big int, and the next thing that I have to pass is the price, that was float. So float, not float first, price and then float. Okay, now the next thing is to insert. Let me zoom. Insert into product price columns pp underscore product ID, pp underscore price values, and the first value that I wanted to pass is the pro ID and the price, second value. Okay, semicolon, two things, that's it. Now copy and execute. Commands completed successfully. Now let's go back and paste, and right here update product price, but this time I wanted to pass the PPID. So PPID, that is, let me check the data type of this table, column, that is big integer. Okay, so let's come here and write big int. Okay, let me zoom in, put this like this. Okay, so big int, and now I wanted to update, so let's try to remove this and write update product price set pp underscore pro ID is equals to pro ID. Okay, hopefully I am doing this or writing the correct spellings correctly. pp underscore price is equals to price price, where pp underscore ID is equals to PPID. Okay, so that's my update stored procedure. Let's try to execute. Copy and executed. Now let's go and try to create delete product price. So delete, let's zoom, remove these things. So I wanted to delete now. I hope now you have got expert skills in creating stored procedures, at least inside your database. Okay, so delete from product price, where is already there, downwards, the downside, okay, or beneath this, that's fine. Okay, now copy and execute. Delete from product price where product ID is equal to this. Commands completed successfully. Now we have to get the product price also. Okay, so let's check, paste and get product price. Okay, and don't need to pass any parameter. Zoom. So I want the price of all the products. So what I can write, select all from products P, inner join, and then we have to write product price PP, on P dot pro ID is equals to PP dot pro ID. So based on this common column relationship, I'll get all the details of the products along with the prices of the product. I hope it is clear to everyone. Okay, you can specify individual column names like pro ID, then pro price, and then the product name and so on. Okay, what columns you require, you can. So that's all. And now let's copy and execute this line. So I have inner joined with the product name, that's it, fine. Okay, so commands completed successfully. We have done with the product price. Now the last thing of today's lecture is to do the stock. So let's come inside the structure, and you see these are the column names. Let's go. Everything was big int here. So let's try to paste and execute the insert one. So insert stock instead of this name. I wanted to save the stock and pro ID we have to pass big int, and then we have to pass the quantity, that will be int. Okay, let us go back to the stock table and open link in new tab, close everything else. Structure, so you see the quantity is in int, so we have to pass integer as quantity QUAN, and then we have the purchase ID, so it was also big int purchase ID. After this we have to do the insert. Let's zoom. So insert into, and then stock, columns are STO underscore pro ID, the first column of the table. Guys, these are written on the right hand side, you can see from this, but I have zoomed in, that's why you might notice that from where I am writing this. So that was on the right hand side, you see on the columns. Okay, so now STO underscore quantity, after pro ID then we have quantity, and then we have STO underscore the purchase ID. Values I can get from the parameters. So it gives me an error at this point. Okay, it should not be at the end, it should be at the beginning. Now that's fine. Okay, so pro ID, the first parameter, double check the column sequence, and then we have the quantity QUAN, and then we have the purchase ID, and then we have semicolon. Okay, let's execute this. Commands completed successfully. Now come here and paste, and now update, but this time I wanted to update the quantity. Okay, so if the product is inserted, then it can be only updated with respect to its quantity, or you can update it with respect to its purchase invoice. So it depends on the requirements. Okay, so let me put everything for updation right now, but you can be specific with your requirements. Big int and stock underscore ID, sorry, STID. Let me first verify. Yes, the stock ID is also in big integer, that's fine. I have to specify STID and big int zoom. Okay, now I wanted to update the stock. Update stock, set STO underscore pro ID is equals to pro ID, STO underscore con is equals to QUAN, STO underscore STID, no, it's purchase ID, and the purchase ID that I am going to update is PUR ID. Where I wanted to update, where STO underscore ID is equals to STID, so STID, that's it. So where the stock ID is this. Okay, now let's copy and execute. Commands completed successfully. Left with two things now, the delete one and the selection. So delete stock. Now it is not necessary to delete the stock because these things are related with the purchase invoice. Okay, so if I delete the purchase invoice, all these things will be removed because I have used the cascade constraint. So now delete stock. For that purpose I need only the stock ID. For sake of future I am just doing this. So just write here delete, and then we have to write here from stock, where stock ID is equals to STID, that's it. And now copy, and after this query, now we have created the deleted stored procedure. Let's try to get the stock. If you wanted to see these things individually, that's why I'm creating these things. So get stock, and I don't want anything. Let me zoom. Okay, now select all from stock, but this stock is related with two tables, that is the purchase invoice and the product. So select all from stock S, inner join product P on P dot ID is equals to S dot product ID, and I wanted to join with the inner join, and that is my purchase invoice. So with respect to the purchase invoice, I'll get my details PI on PI dot ID is equals to S dot, that is the stock, S dot purchase invoice ID. Okay, so all the tables related to these three columns will be fetched when we execute this query get stock. Okay, now let's copy it. A semicolon is missing. Yes, now fine, execute it. Commands completed successfully. Now, so guys, we have done with all the insert, update, delete, store procedures for all the tables we see today. Now one thing is still remaining, that is the accounting part. Okay, when we add a supplier or when we add a customer or anybody, that supplier or the customer should maintain a ledger also. For that purpose we have to do some accounting stuff, but I think the time for today's lecture is more than enough. So guys, do try these things till this, okay, and then in the next lecture we'll continue with the ledger part, and then we'll continue to the PHP code for insertion, updation, deletion of these things. Okay, so that's all for today. Hope you have understood everything. So thank you so much. Take care. Allah Hafiz.